Commissioner of the TRSBA here. It's the finals preview. It's the TRSBA finals. How are we all? A Tago public holiday, but I'm still working hard, but having the occasional beer. So congratulations to both of the finals teams. It's the Alabama Wild Boars. Alabama. They're going to be the favourites going into the series at home. They swept the Tampa Bay Butchers. Giannis has been solid throughout that series. He's been huge. LeBron and KD, a fantastic front court to boot. Problem is, Ingram's been missing games, and we'll get to something else a bit later on. The Don has been solid. There is fuck all bench there, though. Hef, what are you going to do about the bench, buddy? You really, this. If you don't win the finals, it's because the bench fucking did not step up, my friend. They're 8-0 in the playoffs, so 8-0. Undefeated. Let's just share that again. You can't see what's going on. Let's share exactly what I'm talking about here. Also, the Utah Saints, as the Commish predicted, that they'd beat the Death Valley Barbarians 4-2. I said maybe 4-3. Some great performances throughout from guys like SGA. He's been absolutely on a tear for a while, but injuries are always a problem. Now, I said mobile playing Suburb. I meant fucking Morant, of course, I think that's what I meant. Morant in those clinching games. Both Trey and Morant, though, had missed time in that series. Both rested game 6. Morant's back is a concern. So that's a concern going into the series. We look at that last game for the Boars against the Butchers. That's a typical game. LeBron 61, Giannis 56, and Adams has been playing well too with 44 fantasy points for Grizzly Adams.
That's right. I'm going to beat your ass on the court. Yeah, right. Grizzly Adams had a beard. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
So great performance there. As I said, unbelievable that they'd been undefeated in those first 2 rounds of the playoffs, but that happens to the great ones. I mean, that does happen to the great teams. Will it happen in the finals? I don't think so. But let's have a look at the finals. We're going to first of all look at the Boars lineup. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the freak of nature. KD, the Slim Reaper. This guy. He needs to play well. 41 FP on the year. And the GOAT, LeBron James, 33.1 fantasy points a game.
This is our little LeBron. Big LeBron. Yep. Oh, little French fella. That little LeBron.
So the backcourt, Ingram's been out a bit lately. Donovan Mitchell, 34 fantasy points. The bench, as I said, this is the concern that we've got here. Will Barton being the best player on the bench at 22.9 fantasy points a game. That is not going to get it done if you get a couple of injuries. Monty Morris, the boring fucker, 19.9 fantasy points a game. Evan Fournier, 19. Steven Adams, we've already spoken about. We don't have to, hopefully we don't get to Kevin Looney and Mitch Robinson, but I think we probably will. Royce O'Neal. That's the only 12 players that are active enough to play. It's a worry of the depth in this final series. Be that as it may, I don't think Giannis is out too long, so my prediction will come shortly, but it's very important for this team that Giannis does play. Now, this is a very well-rounded young team, this Utah Saints. Utah Saints. Let's have a look who's been getting the stats. Ja Morant, 38.1 fantasy points a game for Ja. Unbelievable that he's had this type of year. Trey Young, 38.5, very solid. Top 15 in the TRSBA is this young guy. Mobley is probably one of the X factors. Have a look at Mobley. 30 fantasy points over the last 10 is very impressive.
You look like a bum in a suit. You need supercuts and the shave. Da, 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 da.
Great. I think he's going to get Rookie of the Year, but we'll see. It's pretty close with him and Barnesy. The bench has been good. Tyler Hero, I mean, had to start that game 6 against the Barbs, but he's been great. 28 fantasy points a game. Who would have predicted that? OG Anunoby's been out a lot, so it'd be interesting to see if he even gets into this series. Kevin Porter Jr. will have to play. Baisley will have to play. Those two guys will have to play, as will Goga Batutso, who on a tear, if you have a look at his stats lately. Maga's probably not coming back. Dante has been thrown into the mix and Gafford, so they are going fairly deep with the team at the moment. And the prediction at the moment from the commissioner of the TRSBA, Tim Wilshire, I know everyone wants to know my prediction. It is going to be a win for the Wild Boars in 7 games. I think it's going to go 7 games. I think Giannis is going to come back in this series and probably do some damage. That's my only prediction. A lot of young studs that are getting a lot of good stats there. For the Utah Saints, I mean, look at that lineup you've got there. You've got Mobley. You've got Ayton with 28.4. Morant, Trey, SGA. I mean, imagine if they had Zion. Imagine what the fucking damage these cunts would do with Zion. I mean, Jesus Christ. Unbelievable what they could potentially do here. Michael Porter Jr., just the 9 games this year, 18.3 fantasy points a game. What a shizen of a year for him. So hopefully he can come back next year. Still young. A lot of injuries already happened for Maga Porter Jr. That's pretty much all I've got to say. I might just it is more than a game though, so I just thought I'd put that in there.
More than a game. It'll always be about more than basketball.
So more than basketball. Okay, that might be my last little wrap up. We'll probably do something in the off season. I'm sure we'll do a lottery show. I'm sure we'll do an NBA draft, TRSBA draft show. So well done to the teams that have made it. Well done to the Saints for getting past the Barbs. It's the first time since 2013, so first time in 9 years that the Western Conference has not been represented by the Death Valley Barbarians. So well done, Matty. Very much don't blow it up. I think I've still got some youngsters there. I think Tatum, I think he's young enough. Curry's getting old. Lillard, we saw his wheels just fall off, so I think you might have to do something about the backcourt. But I think they will certainly rebuild. Maxey has shown that he is something to consider in the future as well, mate. So happy to sort of always do trades with you. Any comments? Like to hear them. Thanks.